My name's Liam, and I play bass in the Dillinger escape line. So March 23rd, 2010, we put out our fourth full-length record called Option Paralysis, and I guess conceptually and musically, it's a reflection. You know, the title basically means when you have so many options that you can't make a choice. You just and it's kind of like I said, a reflection or a response to the complete oversaturation of media and information, and how how our relationships with technology affect our relationships with everything and everybody else, and how everything is one click away, and that there's no secrets, and everything is transparent, and the line between us and our fans is constantly getting redrawn. So it's just kind of our, I guess, sort of expression of some of that, the pros and cons of living in an age where technology is advancing at an exponential rate towards some kind of weird singularity, something. I don't know. So it's pretty high energy, all killer, no filler, 10 Dillinger-y tracks. So right now we are sitting outside at the band's Warped Tour. We're in Oceanport, New Jersey. I think today is show 23. We have another 28 to go. It's kind of I don't know whether to call it America's premier adult daycare or punk rock summer camp. But it's a pretty interesting thing. Every day, I think it's something like 70 odd bands, and probably just as many vendors set up this carnival. I think we all feel like carnies every day, and do this crazy, weird festival. I don't know. There's really nothing else like it. I gotta say that it's run like nothing I've ever seen. I think one of my favorite aspects about it is this kind of level playing field, homogenizing system where every day production announces when you play. So we could play as early as 11:50. We could play as late as 7 or 8. And every day you got to wake up and find out when you play. And it makes bands like us and some of these other bands that we're friends with, Every Time I Die, bands that are used to playing late on these bills. Some days we're getting up at noon and rocking out like the Breakfast Club. And as much as that's kind of a little bit exhausting, it's kind of cool when you wake up. And today we play at 4 o'clock, and Alkaline Trio opens at 11:50, and it forces kids to really get here and hang out here all day. And I think that's pretty cool, because otherwise you would be getting here when you want to see the band you want to see, and then you would leave right after, when the idea is really to expose yourself and interact with some different things, educate yourself on some different causes that are being advertised. I don't know, I think overall it's a pretty cool tour, and I mean that ethically and musically. It's pretty much the textbook definition of punk and DIY, and everything great that goes along with it. It's hard to say whether there will be another. You know what? There won't be another wave quite like you're saying, like Lifetime or Say Today, all this, whatever. Is that the band you said? Yeah. I don't necessarily think there's going to be another wave quite like that, and I don't think there's going to be another wave like, the Casualties or Against All Authority, and I don't think there's going to be another wave like the Sex Pistols, and I don't think there's going to be, I think that we're not even going to recognize the next wave, or, people like us who are, asking ourselves these questions are sort of probably already too jaded to notice it if it came, and we got what we needed out of our generation of music, and hopefully these kids will get what they need out of their generation of music, and the best that we can do is kind of provide them the forum to do it, and make sure that venues and punk spaces stay open and available, and that you know, the promotion of punk and like, you know, all this stuff doesn't get too corporate, and that people still rent out VFW halls and, you know, do basement shows and things like that. I think as long as that stuff still exists, then, you know, the bands will still exist. You know, not to quote Field of Dreams, but kind of like, if you build it, they will come. You know, if the venues are there, you know, I think the kids will show up. And as long as the kids show up, then those kids will get inspired and make bands and do it right. And if they don't like what they see, hopefully they'll make a band that satisfies what they want to hear, which is kind of how I got into it. I think my band maintains the you know, balls to the wallness. You know, one, I think, for better and for worse, my band's gone through a lot of lineup changes. It's been a bit of a revolving door for a hot minute, and but the benefit of that is we really know what we want when we're looking for new people. And you know, we don't put ourselves in that situation, but we get put in that situation. So anytime we have a chance, you know, or anytime we have to replace a member, it's kind of an opportunity in some sense to really up the ante. And not just get somebody who can do what we've done, but get somebody who's going to take it to the next level and really make us run for it. So, you know, recently, about a year and a half ago, we replaced our drummer and wrote a new record with him. And as far as everybody in the band's concerned, it's our favorite, most cathartic, creative expression. You know, we felt like we really dumped our all into it. And so that aspect, I think, definitely keeps the home fire burning. And I think the other thing might be, you know, kind of keeping like a Peter Pan young at heartness to it. You know, we take our music seriously, we take ourselves seriously, but we don't take it all too seriously. And, you know, as much as everybody warned me that as I'd be approaching 30, I'd be getting old and creaky and my shit would be falling apart, I can't really say that that's the case. I feel like my band is way more aggressive and aggro and intense than we ever were. And I think that it's, you know, as the music keeps getting more, you know, sinister and more personal, it's only going to make it all that much crazier. You know, I think we all do a decent amount of, you know, kind of off the court conditioning. You know, like I'm really into yoga. Greg obviously works out a hell of a lot. I think everybody in the band, you know, is really, you know, kind of does their own thing to like eat right, sleep right, do what they can to like stay in good shape so that we can do this. It's, you know, we look at this kind of like it's a sport. You know, we condition ourselves as such. We're not, you know, there's more to being in a band than just playing your instrument. You know, or more to being in this band than just playing an instrument. Most memorable. Shit. I mean, you know, without saying, I don't know. I mean, most memorables were probably some of the firsts. You know, I remember my first show, I got a phone call. It was February 13th, 2000. I was at home learning some Dillinger songs. I was still in school and getting ready to eventually join the band, assuming that I could pull it together. And they were on tour with Mr. Bungle, I guess, or I don't know, I forget what tour they were on. Anyway, they called me up like, hey, how's it going? You know, how you doing? How the song's coming along? You know, good. How's tour? Good. Hey, so can you play tomorrow? We're playing a show in New York. Our bass player Jeff has to go to a funeral. You know, how many songs do you know? And I was like, 5, 6. So, you know, I had to convince my girlfriend at the time that Valentine's Day that year would be her driving me to New York to play this show at CB's. And I remember eating Taco Bell and just feeling wretched, and I don't know. I guess I got up on stage at CB's and like I think everything just made me feel like I was gonna puke. But just kind of pulling it off and just kind of getting in that zone and doing it. And it was kind of like my first interview, I guess. Like really, I got like the most point blank, like, hey, can you do this? Come on up and do it. And I mean that really changed everything. So I would have to say that that's my most memorable one. And that was like, you know, like I said, CB's. My first time playing at CB's, you know, standing on that stage and thinking like, shit, the Sex Pistols have stood here, the Talking Heads have stood here, the Ramones have stood here, the police have stood here, you know, like just, and, you know, and now I'm standing here, and just what a cool vibe it is to be like sharing these molecules or something, you know. I don't know. Horse hygiene. I want to say Ben, but if I can just talk about crew, our guitar tech Doug is pretty filthy dude as well. I think I don't know. We all kind of have our own little perks. You know, I think nobody can really escape the grime of tour, and you know, again, we've all been through it. We've definitely lived like crumbs to varying degrees over the years. I think, you know, not to sound uncool, but we're not really a very dirty band. I think we're all pretty like calm and collected off stage. It's all very like, that's like anger management. We get it all out there, and although we have some like silly quirks and, you know, like I said, kind of Peter Pan immature things about our personalities, I think the keeping clean thing is, we do what we can. You know, I don't think if one dude's hygiene is bad, it's probably because we haven't seen a shower and we're all probably ripe as, so, I don't know.